Hello all. Today we shall discuss passing objects as function arguments. So now let's see what is the meaning of this. So the previous class or in the previous session we have discussed what is a function. So function is a block of code that performs some operation. For example, I have defined a function called getData wherein I have not passed any arguments. Inside the parenthesis, inside the brace, there is nothing. So it doesn't take anything from the main program. Simply it takes a value through scene, so real as well as imaginary. So, as we already discussed in previous video, the different types of functions we have seen, out of which today we shall discuss a function with argument pass and without return. So that means you will have an argument which is passed from the main program, but there will not be any return. See, example is given over here. See, float test double A means what? You are defining a function and it is taking an argument from the main program of type double through A. So similarly, there is one more function called compare, which takes two arguments. One is integer and another one is double from the main program. So now here in this particular program, what we are doing is we are taking object only as a parameter. So the objective of this particular program is you read an object only from the main program. So it's not that you are passing either an integer or a real or a character or a string, which are all basic data types. But to prove that it's possible to pass an argument or pass an object from the main program to this function subprogram. So the objective of this particular program is to say to it that you are passing an object from the main program which you are using it for adding. So now the problem statement is like this. Write a C++ program to create a class called distance with the data members called feet and inches and member functions read and show. So that means what you are supposed to do is you have to create a class called distance. What are the data members of the class called distance? Feet and inches. Then it is calling two functions, member functions. What are the member functions? Read and show. Then write a C++ program to add the two distances by using object as function argument. Okay, so now I will just go through the logic of it. Why we are supposed to consider distance as an object and how are we going to add, what are the conditions involved in it, all these things we shall discuss in this example. See, I am taking two distances d1 as well as d2. Now d1 is 7 feet and 10 inch, whereas d2 is 3 feet and 11 inch. Now let us discuss why d1 as well as d2 are objects. What is the reason for d1 to be an object as well as d2 to be an object? So just look at the distance d1 or d2. There are two parameters. One is feet and another one is inch. So d1 is having two data members as member elements. What are they? One is a feet, another one is a inch. So that's why it is written in the problem that see, create a class called distance with the data members as feet and inches. So d1 7 feet is a feet, 10 inches is a inches. That's why d1 should be declared as an object of class distance. d2 once again is an object having feet as well as inches as distance. Now what about the d3? d3 is going to add the two distances d1 as d2, an object which is going to be added with another object to get the resultant object d3. Here D1 will be added with the D2 to generate another object called D3. So when we are adding the distances, so feet will be added with feet. So 7 plus 3 becomes 10. Then we are adding inches. 10 plus 11, that becomes 21. But as per the mathematics, 21 inches cannot be mentioned because anything beyond 12 will be converted into a feet with the remainder as inches. We know that. So every feet is equal to 12 inches. So anything which is beyond 12 becomes a feet plus remainder becomes an inch. So in this case, it is 21 means 21 minus 12, that is 9. So 21 mod 12 becomes 9. So with the feet, that is 21 by 12 as 1. So what is the meaning? 21 inch is equal to 1 feet 9 inch. How are you getting? By getting the modulus of 21 modulus 12. So we are getting 9 as an inch. Then when we divide 21 by 12, we are getting 1 as a feet. So this feet we are going to add with the 10, so to get 11. So our D3 is going to be 11 feet and 9 inch. So this is the theoretical part of the program. Coming to the problem analysis. So now the distance is considered as an object with the foot and inch as two parameters. I will already explain. Then coming to the read. Read function will read the distance in feet as well as inch. The show function will display the distance. So now let us look into the function subprogram. Will take the object as an argument for adding. Now let us look into the program. How? See, I am calling a class called distance as it is mentioned. Create a class called distance. Okay, I have created the class called distance with the data members as feet and inches. What is the data member? Integer, feet and inch. So these two are the data members. Then what is asked here? And call the two functions. What are the two functions? Read and show. So I'm calling in public read and show. Now I'm adding the two distances. Please look at here. I'm passing the parameters of type distance and distance. What is a distance? Distance is a class. So I am passing the distance as well as distance, which is a class. There are two objects I'm passing from the main program. So this is the main thing which we need to know. So from the main program, I am passing the two objects of type distance. This is declared inside the class. Now let us see what are we going to do with the read function. So void distance scope resolution operator read. So here I am reading the two values. What are the two values? Feet as well as inch. Then the display, the show. So in the show we are going to display the 2 inches, that is feet as well as inch. So this is how we displayed. So please note down C out and del, the distance is, in this previous example, 11 feet. So 11, this is 11 feet and 9 inches. 9 inches. So this is way how the output is going to display. So now coming to the function void distance scope resolution operator add. What are we adding? We are adding two distances d1 and d2 of type distance. That means here I am taking objects from the main program. How many objects I am taking? I am taking two objects. One is d1 and another one is d2. What are the contents of the object? d1 dot inch and d1 dot feet. These are the two elements. Kindly note d1 dot feet and d1 dot inch are the two member elements of the object. So now actually how should I add? I should add feet with the feet and I should add inch with inch. That's what I'm doing over here. Inch is equal to d1 dot inch plus d2 dot inch. So 10 plus 11 becomes 21. Now feet is equal to inch by 12. So 21 is equal to feet is equal to 21 by 12. So that is 1. Okay. So I've already shown here 21 by 12, 1. So my feet becomes 1 here. Then inch is inch mod 12. What is my inch mod 12? 21 mod 12, that is 9. Okay, so that is 9. Now, what is the previous value of feet? Previous value of feet is 1 because 21 by 12 is 1. So, feet is 1 plus d1 dot feet. What is d1 dot feet? 7 feet. Then plus d2 dot feet. What is d2 dot feet? That is 3. So, now here feet is equal to 1 plus 7 plus 3. Okay, 1 plus 7 plus 3, so that becomes 11 here. So my total resultant here, feet is 11 inch, sorry, 11 feet, and distance the inch is 9 inch. So this I'm getting it through this function. So I'll repeat it once again. I am taking d1 and d2 as two objects. I'm reading the values through these two parameters. Then I'm adding inch with inch. First object's inch with second object's inch. Then I'm converting that inch into feet. Suppose let us say if inch is 3 and inch is 2, 3 plus 2 becomes 5. So 5 divided by 12 becomes 0. So here 0 is equal to 0, feet is equal to 0 plus the feet of the two distances. So it doesn't have any changes. So this is a function which you need to know. So I will be adding 2 inches, then I will be converting the inch to feet. Whatever is more than 12, then remainder I'll be keeping it as inch. So then I'll get a total feet as well as total inch as a resultant one. Now let me go to the main program. So in the main program, I'm declaring three objects. What are the three objects? D1 is one object, D2 is another object, and D3 is one more object of type distance. Now coming to read, D1 dot read means I am reading the values. D1 dot read. What I am reading? I'm reading the feet and inch. What is D1? 7 feet 10 inch. So here I am reading 7 and 10. Then d1 dot show. So I'm executing d1 dot show. What is it? Distance is 7 feet and 10 inches. So 10 inches. So this is how I am displaying. So step by step we can analyze. D1 dot read will read the first distance. D1 dot show will display the first distance. Of course, this is output of a different example I've shown here. Similarly, D2 dot read will read the second distance and D2 dot show will show the second distance. Now, as per this program, my first distance D1 is 3 feet 5 inch. So D1 will be 3 feet and 5 inch. So that is shown here. Distance is 3 feet and 5 inch. Enter the feet and inch of second. So D2 dot read. So I'll be reading 4 feet and 2 inch. Similarly, D2 dot show, that will show distance is 4 feet and 2 inches. Now I'm adding the two distances by D3 dot add parameters are D1 and D2. What are D1 and D2? D1 and D2 are the objects which I am passing into this function. D1 and D2 are the objects which I am passing into this function. And D3 will hold the resultant answer. Feet and inch will be stored at D3. Now the sum is D3 dot show. So 3 plus 4 becomes a 7, 5 plus 2 becomes 7. So 7 feet 7 inches as a sum of the two distances. So this is a main program. Once again, I am declaring three objects D1, D2, D3 of class distance. I am reading the first distance. I am displaying the first distance. I am reading the second distance. I am displaying the second distance. Here I am adding the two distances using D3 dot add with the two objects. D1 and D2 are the two objects. Now I am showing the sum through D3 dot show. So this is a total program. And how we get the output by executing this main program connected with this class as well as subprograms. So this is the end of the discussion. So thank you. Goodbye.